Questions about the use of force and leadership. Over the past couple of years, the Camden County Sheriff's Office has made headlines for how it's responded to the public. These are some of the cases. Well, we don't have that video, but we've reported on numerous cases. And now voters are going to decide whether to keep the current sheriff in office or elect a new leader. This week, we're introducing you to all three candidates. Tonight, Riley Phillips sits down with current Sheriff Jim Proctor, who will not be on next Tuesday's ballot since he's running as an independent, but he will be on the ballot in November.
For the last 12 years, Sheriff Jim Proctor has been leading the Camden County Sheriff's Office. He has been with the agency since 1988, working his way up the ranks.
I'm not finished. There's still a lot left to be done.
The Camden County Sheriff's Office has been the center of controversy over the last few years. Last year, Leonard Cure was shot and killed by a deputy during a traffic stop, and there have been several incidents of violence between employees in the jail and inmates. In response to these incidents, Sheriff Proctor says they increased their training hours and let go of a training officer who they believe was teaching aggressive tactics.
We've seen a difference in the attitude, the knowledge that the officers have. They look at things differently.
But Sheriff Proctor's opponents have been critical of his leadership. They believe he lacks transparency and accountability, which leads to poor morale. I asked Proctor whether he thinks there's a culture problem within his office.
I don't know if there was a culture problem. They needed to be exposed to different ways of looking at things.
Sheriff Proctor believes another part of the problem is the sheriff's office is currently short-staffed, which he says puts a strain on the deputies. He's also been fighting to address the conditions of the county jail.
It's deplorable. Who would want to work here, and what inmate should be subjected to that?
Sheriff Proctor says overall crime is down in Camden County, which he believes is proof his deputies are doing their jobs well and keeping people safe.
We're very short-staffed, and for them to be able to continue to do the job that they do, I'm very appreciative of it.
In Camden County, Riley Phillips, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, to read about all three candidates, you can visit firstcoastnews.com or download our app. And again, Sheriff Proctor will not be on the May 21st ballot because he's an independent. Georgia voters will only be voting on Republican candidates Trevor Reddick and Kevin Chaney. And early voting in Georgia ends this Friday. If you plan to vote May 21st, it may be helpful to know that employers must grant employees 2 hours of paid leave to vote unless polls are open 2 hours before or after your regular shift. And if you would like to receive a guide to help you navigate the election, you can text the word VOTE to 904-633-2402. We'll send you the First Coast News election guide.